Greetings, everyone. Welcome. My name is Angelic Alchemy Meenakshi, and I am here with another video that I wanted to share with you all. A couple of messages that I received from sessions that I conducted on some of my clients recently. Some of them actually an accumulation of a couple of sessions and observations from them. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I am an aura practitioner, Ra, and a quantum galactic Akashic reader. And you can find me on angelicalchemyholistichealing.com, as well as I have a profile on the Aura Practitioners website by my name, Meenakshi Gulati, and you can check me out there. I do share some of my videos there as well. So yes, let's begin. I'm excited about this because, you know, it takes a while to edit the sessions and put them all up. And sometimes I just feel that some of this information, this wisdom, messages are to be shared right then and there in the moment so they can help as many as they can and as soon as they can. Thank you. So the first one I wanted to talk about is meditation. One of my recent clients had a question for their higher self, and they wanted to know as to when is the best time in the day or night to meditate. And of course, the higher self shared that you can meditate anytime during the day or night, whatever works for you. However, a beautiful time to meditate is between 3 to 4 a.m. in the mornings. Of course, a.m. is morning. And the reason being, the veil that is between us and ether and between the other dimensions is really thin at that time. And the connection with the angelics, with the galactics is even more easier and to establish and even stronger in connection at that time. So it's a beautiful time to connect with them. Also, as I received the message, I realized that, you know, it is a time when most of us do wake up in the morning with dreams and messages at that time. And also, you know, myself had experiences of my higher self just visiting me between that time, 3 and 4, with messages. Around that time is when you're in between your, you know, brain waves of delta and theta, where delta is the deepest brainwave you go into when you sleep, and theta is a meditative brainwave where, you know, you're sort of sleeping and you're sort of just waking up. So that is the brainwave that you're at around that time when they come in, 3 to 4 a.m. So it's a beautiful time to connect with them. It's also called 0 point of creation, and it is a beautiful time to create. Therefore, also a beautiful time to meditate. So that's a beautiful message received there. And the next one I wanted to talk about was victimhood. So one of my clients' higher self was talking about how the client felt like a victim in many situations growing up. And we were discussing how and what it means to, you know, feel the feeling of being a victim and for how long should you carry on with that. And the higher self spoke about how it is important to feel the emotions that you're feeling. And of course, you know, you can feel that there's been injustice in the situations that you've been in. Perhaps it was not a fair play. But then the sooner we get down to the root cause of why we were in that situation, learn our lessons, and move out of there, letting go of the feeling of victimhood, the better it is for us. Because you do not want to vibrate at the vibration of feeling anything lesser than the highest vibration of source love. And so this is the message that the higher self delivered that day. The higher self said, and the higher self in this case was Mother Isis, Divine Mother Isis. So here's the message. Talking about victimhood, it inadvertently gives permission for more victimhood. So feelings of sadness, frustration, and injustice can be valid as long as they are felt and then they leave. They are released. But if we get them recycled, and recycled, they can bring more trauma, which can then cycle in more victimhood, which leads to more trauma that can be a hard pattern to break through from and to lift from. So again, we talk about, you know, self-healing, shadow work, as everyone talks about, inner healing, trying to get down to the bottom of why that particular pattern is repeating itself, and realizing that you are not in a situation, and we are not always meant to change other people's paths and make their decisions for them. That is their free will. So when you're in that situation, just analyzing and looking at the role that you are playing within that situation. Because what you can definitely do is you can control yourself and control your choices and your decisions and the timelines that you choose. Therefore, stepping back and seeing, why is it that you are in that pattern? Why are you in the pattern of a repeated, pattern of a repeated sort of relationship? The same kind of men coming into your life again and again. Perhaps it's an abusive relationship. Perhaps it's someone who doesn't care and doesn't think, of your needs ahead of theirs. So why is this carrying on? Trying to analyze that and then getting to the root cause of solving it and deciding, thinking through the lessons that you have received from that. Have you learned your lessons? For example, I had a beautiful client that once came for an aura session. And again, now this is again talking about narcissistic relationships. This is one of the main patterns that come up for healing are relationships. And most of those come out to be about, an empath and a narcissistic relationship. So within this relationship that this person had, her husband was narcissistic, of course, as their personalities are. He was a very attractive person and very full of life, and you could feel this person's energy all around. However, it was not too late before she discovered his other side of, abusing and keeping her down. And a repeat pattern of abuses began, which she kept thinking, which most empaths do in that relationship, that they can change that relationship, they can help the person somehow change themselves, and therefore they continue the cycle of abuse, which repeats itself again and again, with a narcissistic person coming back and apologizing for the behavior, and the empath forgiving them, thinking, this is it, we're breaking it now. And then the pattern repeats itself. And then one day, this husband, started abusing her to the extent where, in the presence of their beautiful young children, he was going to cause her bodily harm, which frightened and traumatized not just her, but her beautiful children. And that was the day she stood up for herself, and she said she's going to take the call and break away from this relationship. And she did. She spoke up for herself. She spoke with the people that were around her, her family that was ready to support her, that was unaware of the situation at this point. And she took that decision, and she decided to leave the narcissistic person. And during the session, we also observed that this person was actually following her from across the dimensions, from a parallel life that she had, where she was this beautiful galactic teacher in the universe. And she was teaching a couple of races in the Orion belt. And this being, which was a reptilian being, found her there and got attracted to her light and started following her light, not her love, following her light all the way to Earth, and started following her and attaching to her in many lifetimes. And then, coming from the place of wanting to be parasitic on the light and not love, this being was causing her harm. And she decided to break that pattern. And it was beautiful, because she felt really liberated once she did that, because she brought about that liberation not only for herself, but for her beautiful children who were watching this abuse. So that's what it is. You step back from the pattern of victimhood, see why that pattern is repeating itself. What are the common factors in that pattern? What is your behavior in that pattern? How are you giving into that pattern? What are you allowing within that pattern because of which it is carrying on? And then learning your lessons, creating your boundaries in the relationship, declaring your sovereignty, expressing that you're not going to take it anymore, anything that is disrespectful to you and your soul, and then walking away from it. It is the most beautiful, liberating gift that you're going to be giving to yourself. I myself have found myself in a victimhood mentality at various points in my life. And it was only when I started learning the lessons, once I started waking up, that I realized how beautifully powerful is the gift of liberation once you break away from that pattern of seeing yourself as a victim, and then seeing yourself as a creator being that is creating everything around us. So that is the other message that we have. Now, the third one that I wanted to talk about is abundance. So we have just so many, I would say almost 100% of clients that I come across have a question on abundance. Why is it that we have, or we face a lack of abundance? There is never enough. There is never a surplus. Sometimes there's just enough. Sometimes they're just making ends meet. Sometimes not even that. I've come across beautiful light workers, healers, who sometimes don't have enough to pay for their groceries. Now, stepping back, when we're talking about abundance, looking at abundance as not just financial needs and money and currency, but abundance is basically the abundance of love, the abundance of health, the abundance of happiness, the abundance of opportunities, the abundance of everything that is around us, including the finances as well. So there are various reasons why this could be happening within your life. And we've seen in many sessions why this is. And the number one root cause for it has been lack of self-worth and lack of self-love. And imagining now, just looking at itself, until and unless you learn to love yourself and respect yourself and respect your own self-worth, feel your own self-worth, how is it that you or I would express and be able to emanate that kind of love to others around us? So looking back again to see what the pattern was, or what the cause was, the root cause, or the point where you stop loving yourself, stop believing in yourself, and starting to heal that part of you, heal that being, that particular situation, that circumstance, learning the lessons, and then moving away and giving yourself the most beautiful, unconditional self-worth that you can ever imagine, that you always think of and talk about giving to others. How about we start by first giving it to ourselves? So that was the number one cause for lack, because we sometimes don't think we're worthy of abundance. We're not worthy of love, therefore we don't receive it. And understanding also that our universe understands frequencies, right? The frequency that we give out to the universe is the frequency that we are going to receive back, because it's going to be an equal match. So what is the frequency that we're giving out into the universe? Are we giving out a frequency of lack? I lack love. Am I lacking love? Am I lacking money, abundances? Am I lacking relationship? Or we're going to give out a frequency of gratitude. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for my relationship. I'm grateful for my lessons. I'm grateful for food. I'm grateful for my beautiful family. I'm grateful for the finances. I'm grateful for all the beautiful opportunities that I have. And the universe will give you back everything that you're grateful for. So that is another beautiful lesson that I learned myself through my experiences as well. I have some notes here. The other one that I wanted to talk about was contracts. So many times, through the lifetimes that we've led, we've created consciously and sometimes subconsciously contracts. Some of those contracts were important for us to create for the lessons that we were supposed to learn in those lifetimes, but we haven't transmuted them, deleted them, or let them go. So they're carrying forward in these lifetimes. Some of them were contracts that just came about because of the frequencies that we gave up, because of our fears as well. So going back, and once again, you can call upon your higher self and speak with your higher self and ask for any and all contracts that are not serving your highest purpose anymore, lessons that you've learned, contracts that are not needed for your path anymore, negative contracts to be transmuted, deleted, and removed across all times and spaces of existences in the infinity of creation. so that you can now move on. So we've seen by now there were, souls there were monks. Therefore, they actually made contracts where they said they're going to walk away from financial abundance, from families, from any and all other abundance forms, and just be by themselves and in their solitude as they discovered themselves. There were priests that did that. There were people who worked for the churches that did that. Some of them were formal contracts that they signed. So they had to go back and they had to transmute and let go of those contracts. So you can ask now, when you're ready for those contracts to be transmuted that are not serving your highest purpose. Again, this is something that you can do on your own with your higher self. And the other one that I noticed was, many times in the light worker communities and spiritual groups, I've seen this comment about, why is it that a light worker or a healer needs to charge for what they do? They're here to heal, so they should just heal for free. They shouldn't be asking for anything in exchange. And fair enough, the light workers and the healers are here to heal. And that's also something that holds back a lot of the light workers, where they feel guilty for, asking for an even exchange for the energy that they are putting into the healings. So just understanding that everything is an energy exchange. And in order for us to maintain balance within creation, the energy exchange has to be equal. So the energy that is being given out in the healings needs to be reciprocated by the person that is receiving the healings in some form or the other, whether it is financial abundance or they have another contract for an exchange of another type. Sometimes they do exchanges of healings itself. And also understanding that the light workers and healers are, again, the reason why I'm talking about the light workers and healers are because, I do actually have them coming in for healings as well. And this is a big topic, a question that they have. Something that they are trying to work around is their blockage of abundance and why it is happening. And this is what has come across for them as well. So understanding very well that the light workers and the healers are also existing in the 3D planet right now and have to, buy groceries, pay for themselves, pay for their children, get their basic needs met. And therefore, they would also need an equal exchange for the energy that they are spending with love into the work that they do. And of course, having said that, at least from the ones that I know of, most of the healers and light workers that I know, there is a lot of work, a lot of love, and a lot of healing that they put in to Earth and into the universe that they don't speak about, that they don't charge any financial, energies for. They just do it out of love. They do it out of their mission. They do it in service to others. So that is another message that I wanted to share. So thank you. So those are some things that you can look into if you are feeling a lack of abundance, if you're feeling that you're receiving far less than your potential. Also, one last thing I wanted to talk about is when you are trying to manifest abundance, just making an intention as to why you're doing that. What is it that you're looking for? And also respecting the laws of the universe. And so, I'd love to share how I do it. I do it by setting an intention, in my shields, when I do my shields every day, to make sure that I, universe, I would like to create for myself and my family and for my mission, whatever is needed organically for my benevolent path, ensuring without pulling from another what is theirs, and ensuring that all of my abundance and creations and manifestations are protected from harvesting and siphoning and infringements from others, with harm to none, without overstepping any boundaries. I love laying out those boundaries to ensure that I respect the laws of creation and I do not pull from another's creation, because energy is very strong and there is a possibility of you pulling from another. So ensuring that you respect that boundary as well, because everything is karma once again. And ensuring that you protect your own manifestations and creations and abundance as well. So those are the messages that I wanted to share today. I hope they help you on your journey. If you feel there's another within your community, someone that you know of that can benefit from these messages, feel free to share this video with them. And I'd love to bring forth more messages for you as I receive them, so that we can all learn expand, and remember ourselves and remember our wisdom. Thank you. I send you an infinite wave of love and blessings. Today is the 24th of December. We're coming towards the end of this beautiful year, taking all the lessons with us and moving into the next year, which is 2022, which is going to be even more grander than this year, more powerful, more abundant for everyone. So infinite love and blessings to you and your beautiful family. I love you, honor you, and respect you. Thank you.